Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I am Sunique and this is the third video in my little series looking at the Quiet Rebel Tarot and Oracle by Lynn Thurman. I did have a viewer request to show how I work with my decks, and so I thought I'd put this little series together. So I've already done a video with a walkthrough of the two decks, and I've done a video showing me doing a deck interview with each deck with the questions that I like to use as a deck interview. For this one, I thought we'd look at the numbers. I do like to do this, and also to look at the court cards as a set. And so we start off, or I will start off with the number 1. So in the major arcana we have the Hustler, or the Magician, the Cosmic Roulette, or the Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun for good vibes only. And just to see how these look together. Now, the artist or the creator might not have factored this into their creation. It's just something that I like to do. So we've got these sort of stars here and there. Those repeat. And if we look directionally, then we have the Trickster or the Hustler. Actually, I say Trickster because I saw tricks and a fox, Trickster. But we have the Hustler, the Magician, walking towards the Cosmic Roulette. So he doesn't know if his tricks or his bag of tricks are going to work, does he? He's taking a chance. A little ladybird there. I always think ladybird's that little rhyme, fly away home. Your house is on fire, your children all gone. So it's not always a good omen, is it? But nevertheless, in order to live, we have to get on the cycles of life, be they ups, be they downs, and hopefully go towards the sunshine. The other thing I noticed actually in this deck is that all of the figures are in black and white, whereas the backgrounds are beautiful collages in colour. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to fit all the ones on my screen, so I'll just do them separately. So we have the aces. So what can I see here? Well, immediately I can see that the hands are raised on all 4 of these aces. We've got like this electrifying thunderbolt here, and we've got a big bang here. And we're going to open a whole can of worms there, if it's a can of love. Yeah, it's a bit like the Cosmic Roulette, isn't it, when we open a can of love? Could go anyway. Big bang, yes, that could relate there as well. So here we're planting seeds. And again, if we go back to the Wheel of Fortune there, we don't know if they're going to produce what we want them to produce, be that food, be that fruit. Also, lightning, that's unpredictable. So yeah, I can see how that relates there. Things don't always go as planned, do they? But we hope, with a bit of sunshine, that life will turn in our favour. Let's look at the tens, because 1 and 0 equals 10. People coming together in these 3 cards and 1 on their own. Not looking too happy in the 10 of Swords, the bitter end. It's very reminding me of France's history there, although it's not a guillotine. So very different energies between the wands and the swords as usual, and the cups and the pentacles, the masculine suit and the feminine suit. The masculine fire here. So let's see, if we go back to the sun, too much sun, we get burnt. Playing in the sunshine, the opposite of the sunshine. And a happy family is what we could be reaching for. Well, I think, the Cosmic Roulette, the Wheel of Fortune, will apply to any card actually in the decks. And if the Trickster comes along, or the Hustler, I keep saying Trickster, don't I? But if the Hustler comes along, it could upset anything here, and we go straight back to the 1 anyway. So the 1 to the 10 in wands. So the overload, too much fire, and then we start again with another bang. The ace to the 10 of cups. Maybe if we connect with our found family, it can open this lovely cup of love, this can of love. The Ace of Swords and the 10. We've got a spark here, and then the thunderbolt there. And we often get rain, don't we, with thunder and lightning. Perhaps this spark of madness just went a bit too far. And the Pentacles, the wild idea, to the 10. This is what we grew, because look, we've got a repeat of the flowers here in the background, the leaves anyway, in the background. So this is what we actually brought to fruition. So I can see how that works. Planting seeds of love there. Okay, so that's the wands, number 1. Of course, our 4 can go anywhere in the deck. Right, let's look at the 2s. So mages, we've got the High Priestess and Justice and Judgment. It all add up to 2. 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 0 is 2. So what do we have here? I see balance in all. So the balance here, the balance here, and the balance here. We've all got animals. So we've got fish, a heron, and a little dog. I think very wise figures in all 3, experts in their fields. So let's look at the minus as the sun comes back out. Actually, the sun's not doing anything, is it? It's the clouds that are going over and blocking the sun. Anyway, the edge of mayhem, a sweet exchange, the turning point, and the beautiful mess could actually be a story in itself, couldn't it? So here it looks like they're on the side of maybe a cliff, you know, like the Fool. Lost a shoe. Could topple off there. Maybe not yet made that commitment, but if they make the commitment, they get this sweet exchange with another. And that leads to a turning point, but it could also lead to a beautiful mess. I love that for the 2 of Pentacles. So with the High Priestess, the third eye spy, wisdom comes from experience, I would say. And we have to live a life with all the sunshine and the darkness, both sides. Got an umbrella just in case. So it's a life lived gives us this wisdom, and here we are on the beginning of our journey towards that wisdom. Trying to balance, we've got balance there. Yeah, I can see balance actually in all of them. So we've got the balance in the Justice card with the scales. This figure is balancing here. These is a balance because it's 2 people, male and female there. So a blend of opposites. The balance of the spinning point on toe, and we've lost balance there. Totally lost balance. And then with the checkpoint, maybe we should check in with ourselves to see if what we're doing is going to lead left or right. Maybe she should read the recipe. You're just going for it. Okay, let's look at the 3s. So we've got the Empress and the Hangman, and also the World. It all add up to the number 3. The Empress's garden is our world, and the Empress is very abundant, gives us everything we need as the badass gardener, as Mother Earth. So instead of looking at what we can take, maybe we should look at what we can give in order to complete this cycle, because the World is the last card in the cycle. There's the World there, and of course the Empress is Mother Earth. And here the Hangman is actually looking at the universe and all the planets, including Mother Earth there. Let's look at the minus. So 3 is all about growth, isn't it? So we have a group of 3 and a group of 3 in the Cups and the Pentacles, whereas in the Swords, we're alone. But the 3 of Wands has got the key to the Empress's garden. About to step in there and about to find out what the world holds. Yeah. And maybe this is the first time they've ever done this, and so therefore they'll see the world in a different way open up their experiences. Maybe they'll meet some people that will bring joy with music. Or maybe they'll encounter somebody that will bring hurt and betrayal. We've got another garden type energy here in the Pentacles, this work in progress. So we're working towards a relationship there with Mother Earth and the harvest. The world can be a scary place. The world is an abundant place. Oh. Alright, so fours. We have the Emperor and Death. So just two majors now that add up to 4. So the Emperor, the rule breaker, could bring an end to society as it's perceived at the time. What does it say? Press, try again. Press that button, try again. Have another go round. These snakes. But yeah, I can see him breaking the ruler there. Very strong energy, doing things their own way. And maybe it's another go around because the establishment before didn't work. Not to get political or anything. Let's see the minors and the fours. So we have the after party, the plot hole, the nap is calling, and a security blanket. Again, you can see the story in the cards, can't you? So yeah, they had a cracking good time there with the champagne. But what were they searching for? But whatever it was, they need to rest because maybe they've overdone it a little bit. They were searching for something that just wore them out. And so, yeah, they need a nap and a security blanket. Okay, so a rule breaker after party. So maybe there was more than champagne involved, possibly, if they broke the rules. And then with Death. Yeah, the nap is calling, the end game. The after party, the end game. So after the party is the end. Where did the story go? So that was the end of that. And then the security blanket. We don't want to face whatever it is anymore. We just want security. I'd love to know what you think when looking at these cards together. If you're seeing something that maybe I'm not, or maybe, as often happens when I do these sort of videos, I look back at them and I think, oh, I missed that, or I missed that. I didn't see it at the time, but looking back at it, I see something that I didn't see, and it opens up a whole new set of meanings for me, or insights for me. Anyway, Hierophant and Temperance, the unofficial guide and the mad scientist. So we're a little unconventional here then. Now fives, as we know, are all a little bit of a challenging number. And so we have here, look, power struggle. And then we've got all these flags of the world. Power struggle and a letdown. So maybe what was promised wasn't delivered. But it's a hollow victory. This power struggle gives us a hollow victory if we do win. So if we lose, if we win. And who are the casualties from this story here? Oh, that's quite deep, isn't it? So we really did mix it up. And it didn't get us very far, did it? I can see I'm going to be doing a lot of journaling with this deck. So we have the Lovers and we have the Devil. And usually we can see the Lovers in the Devil, but not in these cards actually. So again, we've got this risky business and a sticky situation, as is often the case. Chained to our desires, the things that we think we want. So those always go together anyway, don't they? The Lovers and the Devil. It's quite the dualistic nature of love. Be that love of a substance or love of a person or love of whatever. There's usually this sort of devil energy involved. You know, it could bite you if you're not careful. And we've sort of got it echoed here with the love bomb, which I did discuss when I did the walkthrough of what I felt about that card. A number of beauty. There's some very beautiful individuals here. Yep. very risky business. You know, we're heading towards an Oscar, but at what cost? Especially the lovers. Thinking casting couch there. Risky business with the Six of Cups. Well, I do remember those weren't all that stable, but they were good fun. But yeah, you could have caught anything in there as well, couldn't you? You know, kids carry germs, don't they? Exit strategy. So, if you put those two together, maybe these individuals have to plan ahead for an exit strategy, just in case. And then the tip jar with the Six of Pentacles, so the give, the receive, which we do see here. And then with the Devil card, well, yeah, back to the casting couch. There's been some horrible stories, hasn't there? The sticky situation. Again, what we're going to catch in there. Or is the whole thing going to tip over, you know, if these children get too excited? Or maybe one of these on the outside is a little devil. Exit strategy to get away from this devil influence. And then the Six of Pentacles. We give what we put out, don't we? So that can be very aligned to the devil if we think about the nuances of that. Not looking where you're going. Could have disastrous results there, couldn't it? Maybe have to think again. Maybe two seahorses pulling you along wasn't the best idea. Not going to get us to that finish line. Okay, so the Chariot. An uphill battle trying to get where we want to go. Maybe the waves are too strong. Wild goose chase. That's an old saying, isn't it? You're on a wild goose chase. In other words, you're never going to catch up. Never going to make it. Oh, the sneaky bastard. The wild ride. Reminds me of that magician, actually. And the waiting game. And the tower. Well, yeah. Put those two together, an uphill battle. And this stick of dynamite that's been lit here. That's going to lead to a tower, isn't it? A blasted tower. An oh crap moment. Wild goose chase, yes. Yeah, this is something we shouldn't be chasing, really. Oh, yeah. Very much go together, don't they, these two? And then the waiting game, waiting for that moment. Whoa. So it's an uphill battle. And we're on a wild goose chase getting nowhere because there's a sneaky bastard who's waiting for us to make the wrong move. And then he will pounce. These cards really speak, don't they? Okay, eights. And we have strengthened the star. Colours are quite the same in the background there. I think this is a squirrel, but the ears look wrong, so I'm not too sure what that is. However, we know this is the lion. So the Beast Whisperer and the Eternal Optimist. I think if you were sat on a beast like that, you'd have to be optimistic. Anyway, that's just me joking. We know what it means. It's our inner beast. So let's have a look at the minors. Fast track, yeah. Headed towards the stars. Done and dusted. Ooh. We've got stars in the background. But as the Eternal Optimist, we really do need to face the fact that that chimney is going to need cleaning again. It's not done and dusted, really. The mind maze, that's again, and it's a mental choice, isn't it, to be an optimist? And the new recruit, the optimism. When we start something, we have that optimistic outlook, don't we? That looking at the future possibilities if we study hard. And strength, you're going to need strength to keep on that track, especially at the speed they're going. I would say strength as well to do this sort of job, a chimney sweep. And also the strength to walk away from a situation that is over. And strength over our mind, because it can play tricks on us. Yeah. Able to actually control our thoughts, control the beast within, because it's part of the brain, actually. It's a reptilian part of the brain. And the new recruit, finding our inner strength there. And then the eternal optimist, yes. Be optimistic we'll get where we want to go. Optimistic that we've made the right choice by walking away. Optimistic that we can actually tame, like I said before, with strength, the mind, the monkey mind, and optimism in our future path. Let's have a look at the nines, and we have the Hermit and the Moon. So we've got a light from a candle here that doesn't give out a lot of light, really, does it? And this looks like a nighttime background. And of course the moon doesn't give any light at all, it's just a reflection from the sun, and so things can look shadowy. And it does say the shadow assassin, so the solar mission and the shadow assassin. And we are sort of going into our own fears and examining them and our psyche. Going to open this box that we've been sat on for a long time, and it's time to look inside and not be scared of what we might find there in our subconscious. They go well together, don't they? Let's have a look at the minus. The last one standing, the wish granted, the panic button, and the life upgrade. This is like rubbing the lamp, the genie, you know, when the genie comes out. Grant me 3 wishes. But, you know, these terms and conditions apply, you know. There's a warning there. Panic button and last one standing. The 6 of Wands is defensive energy, and then the 9 of Wands is the nightmare. These nightmare figures here. These two go together really well, don't they? And if our wish is granted, we're hoping for this life upgrade. Would be nice. So, yeah, Hermit again. Solar energy, and solar energy there as well. And maybe with the Hermit and the wish granted, by uncovering our subconscious and working with our shadow, we can see what wish is really important. And the assassin, the moon, the shadow assassin. This could be our fear, that there's no one there to support us. This could be our fear of, should we actually ask for this wish or these 3 wishes? Is this a wise thing to do? Or are we going to get burned? Panic button. Ooh, we could hit that panic button because we're not sure of what's ahead of us. You know, these owls are in shadow here. And the life upgrade, might not be all we think it is. We might be blinded by success. Okay, this is just some initial thoughts anyway. So let's have a little look at the pages and how they look together. The flamethrower, the heart stirrer, the peace disruptor, and the seed sower. So I think we can see from all of these that they're sending something out into the world, that they're sending their messages out into the world. This flamethrower, as his flame's going out, then all these beautiful star motifs are exploding into the sky. Here are these heart shapes exploding into the sky. Here are these gold splatters here, they're all exploding. And then we've got the dandelion seeds, they're exploding out from the plant. So they're all sending their energy out. They are messengers after all. The Knight of Swords is heading that way. This blaze run is coming right at us. But you can see how fast these are. And this one's in a whirlpool. Whereas we have the steady plodder, don't we, with the Pentacles Knight. But he's coming towards you with these beautiful hot balloons. He means business, straight at you. This one's going to land on us. So these 3 are looking straight at us with their energy. Actually, I think that one's giving a side eye to this one, actually. And this one, hand on the heart. This one seems to be pointing up. But you can see the elements in the background here. You can see all this beautiful fire energy in the background here. This beautiful wand as well. And all the water here. The air, we've got the communication here, and then we have the fertile energy of the Pentacles and the Queen, King's a pioneer, peacekeeper, a mastermind, and an empire builder. So we have 2 seated, 2 standing. This one's got a hammer. He's actually building his empire. This one, I mean, although he's seated, he's ready for action. He's about to jump off of that chair, I'd say, whereas this one's very comfortable in his world with his air element. Okay, so what I'm going to do, look at the families, I think. It's another thing I like to do, is to actually look at the families of the courts together and see what we have. The flamethrower, the blaze runner, the hot shot, and the pioneer. So with the page, they're just discovering their elements, and with the knight, they're having an adventure with their elements. With the queen, fully encapsulating the emotion of that element, and the king, mentally imbued with the element. In a desert landscape here with these cactus, we have the sunflowers here that we see in the Rider-Waite-Smith. Actually, I don't think they're sunflowers. They might be. They're definitely yellow flowers. And again, we've got this sort of desert type landscape with the page and the king. The page wants to be the king. In order to be the king, he has to push that element. So I see this sort of rose energy repeated here. So we have, I think it's a rose, but this red flower, and then the rose there and there. So we can see that progression there. And water of water, so submerged in water. And the pomegranates here on the dress, linking them to the Empress. At one with the elements as well in these two. We've kept a colour palette here with these swords cards. I do apologise for the lighting, that those clouds are going over quite fast, I think. But yeah, we've definitely got a colour palette going on with these courts. Peace disruptor and the truth, that's, you know, definitely go together, don't they? So here we can see the element of air almost in a disruptive nature with these three, whereas the king is now in control of this air element. He's figured it out. So is the queen, but she's giving it to us straight. Okay, so pentacles. I think this is meant to be money, but it looks sort of like lemon slices. So we've sown the seed, we've plodded steadily on, purposefully towards our goal. And we've got our money here, and we're going to invest it where it's going to be most productive in order to get to an empire that we've built for ourselves. And here we're nurturing that energy to bring it to fruition. Let's look at the pages with the aces. So we have a page of wands with the ace of wands. So usually the page is holding the ace. And so we've got a big bang and a flamethrower. So those go together really well, don't they? Big bang, throw the flame. Yeah, very cohesive. The page of cups and the ace of cups. The heart opener and the heart stirrers. We've stirred that can of fluff. Okay, the ace and the page of swords. Again, we've got that colour palette there. Light bulb moments. And we're going to tell the truth, aren't we, through media. Get together. And then the ace and the page of pentacles. So we've sown the seeds, and yeah, this is the fruition. These are the seeds. And then we're sending our wishes out into the world. Yes. Okay, so let's look at the knights, the chariot. Okay, so the Knight of Wands in a rush. It's just like the chariot. The Knight of Cups. And we can see this duality here. The Knight of Swords. We've got the water repeated, but the water's in a different state now, in the air element. So we've really stirred it up. And then the Pentacles. Maybe we've had to come to ground and arrive at the shore. Okay, let's look at the Empress and the Queens. So our Empress in her garden, Queen of Wands in the garden. the Queen of Cups in her element. Let's put this here. Hopefully we can see them. But we still have the pomegranates. I can't see them on the Empress. Anyway. Queen of Swords. And Queen of Pentacles, again in the garden. Nest maker. Okay, and then finally the Emperor with the Kings. Yeah, the Emperor, a rule breaker. He's about ready, isn't he? I mean, it must be really hot in the desert. It's no wonder he's taking his coat off. Cups. Swords and Pentacles. Yeah, they've all got suits on. Apart from our wise peacekeeper here, the King of Cups. They all have their suits on. Whereas the Emperor has taken his clothes off. And of course the crown is different to the King's, as these are the Emperor's personification in the world. He is the ultimate. Okay, so that's a little further exploration with his deck. I'm trying to see the way that they correlate with each other. And I think this is to be continued.